to achieve herd community.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 6, 2020. This is episode 262, and today, vote like butterfly, sting like bee. And you know me, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we love Jesus, we love you, we try to love ourselves, and we are having a real difficult time loving our enemies because they just keep printing votes like burr.
We'll see about that, Gonz. Trust the plan.
Yeah, I forgot. We're supposed to trust the plan.
So what? Did you want to do a little election review? We're trying not to make... here's the thing, folks. It's my job to pay attention to everything. I'm listening to 10 hours of podcasts a day. I'm reading every article I can find. I'm looking at all the different outlets, trying to connect the dots, create a comprehensive picture of the world, and then share it with you 3 times a week. But I gotta say, Gonz, it has just gotten exhausting. It's been overwhelming the past couple days. Yeah,
the one thing we want to try to do is help everybody escape from the madness that is the elections right now. So we'll touch on a few things here before we dive in, but we're not going to spend... There are some, election news or election adjacent type of news that we'll touch.
We're still staying current. There's a lot of current events that are important to stay on top of, but no, we will not be doing a live tracking of ballot by ballot counting in Philadelphia or something.
Yeah.
So don't worry. Rest easy. You can take just a little bit of a break from staring at those that red line and that blue line inching closer to each other.
Yeah, but also just breaking right before we went live here. According to The Independent, Philadelphia, evacuations underway after bomb threats near vote counting center. So, yeah, great. Yeah, that's not any kind of operation over there. It's just, random bomb threat in Philadelphia. I mean, it's a little out of control. What are you supposed to believe? But
it's getting crazy.
One thing that I wanted to talk about is overall, this clip kind of went viral of Steve Pachesnik. He's like former intelligence, I think, right? And he was on InfoWars the other night, I think last night maybe, with Owen Schroyer, who I met a couple years ago, and we did a little panel. Mm-hmm. And he said something very interesting. There's a lot of rumors on the internet about the watermark and a few other things going on with the election ballots. But here's what Pachesnik said. I'll play just, a few seconds of it to get an idea of what people are talking about here.
None of this was unexpected. All of this was expected. All of this is part of the sting operation we're running. And let me tell you that 48 hours ago, not only did we put markers on those ballots, but I can say now, with the permission of people in the intelligence community and elsewhere, that we have sent out thousands and thousands of National Guards to 12 different states: Washington, Delaware, Texas, Arizona, Alabama, and everywhere. So now you have to consider and rethink what this is really about.
So that's sort of the claim that Trump knew. And I believe him when he says Trump knew from, the get-go that this election was going to be ridiculous.
We all knew.
And yeah, just to prove it, this is June 22nd. Trump tweeted out, rigged 2020 elections. Millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. So, I mean, he's been setting this thing up for a long time.
So he claims.
Him and the Democrats, allegedly. Doesn't it feel like just crazy theater to you? Like, it's just the whole thing is out of control.
Well, here's the thing, and just to go a little bit, I mean, are you going to go a little deeper into the watermark thing, or
kind
do you want
of
me to give a review of it?
Yeah.
So here's the theory floating, I don't even know what to call it. The word on the street
The rumor.
is that. Yes, all the official ballots. I guess the Department of Homeland Security took over the ballot printing process for all of the official ballots. They got all these new special machines, and Department of Homeland Security printed the official ballots. And I've heard a couple different things. It's generally being called a watermark, but it's an isotopic watermark, which means it's a non-radioactive sort of chemical signature that that will identify. You can identify individual official ballots. They're printed with this basically a special molecule or something,
right,
some signature into the watermark. And so, if you audit a ballot counting place or whatever, if you audit all the ballots, you'll be able to separate out easily, because there's theoretically no way to have counterfeited this isotope that they built into the watermark.
Right.
Now, this is the story floating around. I mean, I started hearing this actually, I don't even know, a while ago, before it kind of started making the rounds around the common areas of the internet, and I didn't really know what to think of it. And here's my theory about it. This does make a lot of sense. And here's the thing. I hope this is true. This would be a great way. I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't heard about this before. But I hope it's true, simply because it would give some actual standards to what is a real ballot and what's not. Of course, if you're spending any time on Twitter or places like that, lots of videos floating around in ballot counting areas of, people filling out ballots, and people, have you seen these videos, Guns?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
A few of them seem like, because if the ballot is unreadable, the process is that somebody else reads it out and they refill it on a new ballot. I mean, it's kind of, it is a little shady. It's shady looking, but it doesn't mean that that's fraud for sure.
Who knows? Whatever it is. I don't know what
That's the procedure. That's the official procedure, what you're supposed to do if a ballot is unreadable. That's, unreadable.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not even the point. The point is, there's allegedly ballot fraud going on. And if this isotopic watermark thing is true, then there's really nothing to worry about. They'll just figure it out. And I don't need to think about it until they do.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I got to say this, that this whole thing with the watermark, when I see it posted, when I see people talking about it, it's always in language of like, trust the plan.
Yeah,
they saw it all coming. Trust the plan, which, of course, as we know, is basically what they've done is, well, what I kind of feel like might be happening is it's very much like a Q thing. They just haven't branded it Q.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever's doing the Q stuff, this sounds like a Q post.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Q drop. It's very much put in that language. And, Trump is a mastermind and he planned for it all. And here's the thing. haven't put that much thought into it, mainly because, hey, if it's true, it's brilliant and it'll fix the problem. I don't have to worry about it until I can read it.
Right.
That's kind of the thing. I can't get too worked up about that.
Yeah. We'll move past this in a moment here. But one of the things to point out, first off, Pachiznik here, is that how you say his name? I always mispronounce his name. Pachiznik. Wearing the Hawaiian type shirt. Is that like a Boogaloo Boys sort of psyop going on? So that's number one. Number two, I did ask about this because this was published back in September. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for voting system combining mail and a blockchain. And the patent was, I think it was handed out in February. So, they're saying that this could be part of that process of verifying.
I don't think it is.
But I don't know if they were able to implement it before the election because they're talking about QR codes and stuff. And I don't think there were QR codes.
personally been following that post office blockchain thing very closely. That would have nothing to do with the watermark.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's not connected. But yes, I mean, I wish, I mean, I don't know. When I think about electronic voting and how to get rid of this paper ballot nonsense, blockchain, the technology, not cryptocurrency, folks, but the technology of blockchain has a lot. I mean, that could at least take us a couple steps forward in securing that stuff. But no, this is not connected.
Well, yeah. Distributed.
But yeah, people are. I mean, the other thing about this Steve, coming out and saying it is that, like, I don't know, I haven't pulled off too many nationwide conspiracies, in my day. Certainly not as much as Steve. And it doesn't seem like the right time to come out and start bragging about this,
Well, the other thing is he's saying, like, oh, we're going to see arrests today and moving forward. So it's like, okay, today, huh? You're setting the precedent pretty straightforward. I mean, today, okay, let's look for that. So
I'm waiting.
That could discredit his little thing here right away. But I did a little digging. I'm not a voter, election expert. Well, that's not what we are here. But as a citizen, journalist type, I guess you can call it. I did go back and find this article from the Wall Street Journal. And this was published on August 21st. Voting by mail. These companies are rushing to print your ballot. And this particular version on the desktop, I can't really get to the part that I want to show you, but I took a screenshot because, it talks about all these different companies that are buying machines from Germany. And they have to, because they're basically, printing is sort of a business that has gone out of business. Nobody really does mass printing anymore with the digital era. But one of the things here, it says his company, this guy, John Buddington, I think. President of Arlington, Virginia-based printing company Moore Vang is hoping to secure some ballot printing work as other printers reach capacity. His company, which typically prints paperwork for insurance firms, hospitals, and human resource departments, upgraded its equipment this year to meet standards for tracking which documents are being sent to which homes. Until the surge in demand related to the pandemic, he said he had been hesitant to print ballots because they need to be printed with far more precision than invoices and account statements. So right there, it kind of, I don't know. I mean, I get it. This is the Wall Street Journal, but this is like a company that's saying, yeah, we're going to print the ballots. This isn't the federal government, Trump coming in and providing the paper.
It's all contracted out.
Sure, I get that, and I know they have to get approval of the local government office to even do it. But it just doesn't seem like, we tricked you, watermark on all these ballots.
This is America, baby. The government doesn't do anything; they contract it out, aka. The people who print our money is not the government. It's a corporation that the government has a deal with. Yeah. No, government doesn't print anything themselves. Yeah.
The other thing,
that's not too much of a surprise to me.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying it kind of pokes a hole in the Pachiznik, claim there. The other part of it to mention is there's an agency. This is one of the newer agencies, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. CISA, CISA.gov. You can go there. And there's a whole section, Protect 2020, Rumor versus Reality. And this is it's an interesting website because this is all about the election. And one of the top things here, it says new, and it gives you sort of the reality and then the rumor. Reality, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, do not design or audit ballots, which are processes managed by state and local election officials. Rumor, and this is sort of them trying to debunk this, I think, DHS or CISA printed paper ballots with security measures and is auditing results as a countermeasure against ballot counterfeiting. So it's like, oh, okay, this cybersecurity agency is flat out saying that this Pachiznik claim is wrong. So I don't know who to believe.
Fact checkers, man.
I know, but this is like a government I mean, if the U.S. government is gonna be the arbiters here, This is them basically saying like, hey, we don't print the paper. We don't print the paper ballots. And so
no, they don't.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So,
but I don't think that matters. I get what you're saying. I just don't think that that's necessarily a point that would confirm or deny this thing.
Sure.
Because, yeah, of course, they could have worked with the company who does print it to put on this little isotope or whatever.
Right.
So I get it. The point of it is, I don't think it's even worth worrying about until it's done. I mean,
sure.
That's the one thing that actually kind of aggravates me about this whole thing, about Steve putting it out. It's like, okay, why are you telling us? Why don't you just do it? And then tell us that you did it.
Yeah.
Why get our hopes up?
Right. And so, that last little point there was against this. I'll just end with this one. This is from the same website. It's the next point here. Post-election reality, robust safeguards, including canvassing and auditing procedures, help ensure the accuracy of official election results. Rumor, a bad actor could change election results without detection. So that's kind of on the other side saying, okay, if there is some kind of fraud, they're not going to be able to, just get around the safeguards. We're going to be able to find you. So, I don't know. I guess, like you said, we're just going to have to wait and see what's going to happen.
It's not even worth worrying about. It's just
you're so over
part
it.
Of it is,
it's funny.
But I am over it. Like, part of it is just do it. Just finish it. We're done. I'm done thinking about it. I'm done trying to figure it out, because as soon as we figure something out one day, the next day something else is going to happen.
Right.
Just go do it. Figure it out. Let me know when you figure it out.
Yeah, and then there's this Alex Padilla, Secretary of State document that talks about the watermark and the tint on the ballot itself. So all kinds of information out there that confirm and deny the claims of Pachesnik and others on the internet. So we're right back to where we started. We're eating our own tail. The Ouroboros is us, basically. We've turned into the Ouroboros.
Well, on
America.
that, I say we get to the real important stuff.
The real important stuff, Flippy, right?
Yeah,
here we go.
Let's do it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Woo! Okay, folks, it's time for the Flippy update. And for those who know, you know. For those who don't know, maybe you're new to the show, let me let you know that Flippy is the colloquial name we have for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use these conversations about Flippy to, use it as a proxy conversation to explore how robotics and AI are worming their way into our lives and eventually will rule us all. Now, today, this is kind of a little bit of a combo Flippy update, Gons. I'm over here at Wired.com, and the article is titled, "These Factory Robots May Point the Way to 5G's Future." Dun, dun, dun. At Bosch Rexroth in Bavaria, Germany, wheeled robots that zoom between manufacturing machines and robotic arms that help hoist and connect components come with an unusual new feature: 5G modems. Woo! The division of Bosch that sells advanced manufacturing equipment sees 5G as a big future trend, and not just for gaming or super fast movie downloads. This 5G thing is funny. Whenever they're trying to convince people about 5G, the standard unit of measurement is you can download a 4 gig movie in 6 minutes. They're just obsessed with telling us how fast we can download a movie, which kind of sounds... Now, here's the thing. People do download movies, but not many people download movies. That's kind of like an old school way of thinking about speed.
We're streamers now. It's like downloading anything.
Yeah, it's like, depending on your age, it's like your dad or your grandpa, like trying to be like, "Oh, you kids love downloading your movies on the internets." No. Okay, anyways, moving forward. The company has developed a modular production line where every piece of equipment plus high precision power tools is connected via 5G. The new wireless standard may seem underwhelming so far as smartphone Wow. The new wireless standard may seem underwhelming so far to smartphone users, but it's gaining followers at some factories, office compounds, and remote workspaces with good reason. 5G promises insanely fast download speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, roughly 20 times as fast as current networks that could deliver virtual reality to smartphones and other mobile gadgets. But the highest 5G speeds only work on some types of transmitters, and it will take time for wireless carriers to build out their networks, yada, yada, yada. Inside a factory or warehouse, however, a private wireless network can guarantee coverage. The new standard also promises latencies as low as a millisecond, compared with around 50 milliseconds for current networks, as well as high reliability and the capacity for many thousands of devices to connect at once. Now, this article gets quite long, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But what they're telling us here is the biggest use for 5G as they see it is not, global coverage of 5G and smartphones, but really it's what's going to be used to connect machines to each other. You got machine to machine communication, whereas instead of having a Wi-Fi router in your factory connecting all your wireless machines, you'll have a local 5G network, which I thought was pretty interesting. This was the first time I'd heard of 5G being used in this way, and when we explore the possibilities of a robot revolution, they got to be able to talk somehow. And how are they going to talk?
Yeah.
Local 5G networks, baby.
Yeah. And part of it, we've heard, or at least read articles or reported on stuff that 5G was going to be used for the IoT, the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
And so this isn't surprising at all, but it says here later in the article, the researchers show how a 5G link can give a humanoid robot, which exists inside a simulation for now, its brains. The algorithms that let it make sense of its surroundings in order to balance and walk confidently on two legs. Doing this requires some clever balancing of computation, since the robot has to keep functioning even if the wireless link suffers from a drop in speed due to interference. And we know about 5G, it's not like a wide-reaching thing. You got to have like pretty close proximity pods and stuff to keep the connection going. So, it makes sense that you're going to surround autonomous machines that aren't connected to anything in closer proximity to the 5G pods or whatever, so that they can keep moving around. It's their brains.
Well, that's the thing. When you watch Terminator or The Matrix or anything like that, and you've got, a swarm of robots communicating with each other, one thing is to worry about the robot with built-in machine gun hands. The other thing is you got to worry about how the robot horde is communicating, and that's going to be through 5G local networks as of now, which is pretty interesting and also pretty good for humans in a sense, because, if you just have if you have a factory filled with robots on 5G, then none of the humans are getting fried in the 5G interspace.
Yeah, well, until they connect to the Neuralink to the Starlink and link it up to the Tesla and the...
Stop badgering my good personal friend Elon Musk.
He's got a product to share about today in today's update. We'll get to it later. But anything else to say about the 5G robot?
Flippy and 5G teaming up.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's another example we've been pointing out lately, how a lot of these separate categories of things we used to report on are all conglomerating into one giant beast system category.
Yeah.
Soon the show will have no variation in jingles. It's just beast system every single jingle.
Just one beast. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot, by the way, to mention the whole sting operation. That was sort of the reason for the title.
Son of a bee sting.
So good.
Yeah, forgot that. But anyway, let's move on here. Are you ready to move on? You said you were ready. Let's go.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Update me.
Just to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33 is the Illuminati dog whistle. And YourErie.com, Erie County reports 33 new positive cases of COVID-19, 414 active cases. And of course, Erie, isn't that, is it Michigan or Pennsylvania? I'm totally getting lost here. Hold on.
Lake Erie?
I don't think it's Lake Erie, Erie County.
I'm sorry. I totally tuned out of what you were saying. I was reading something.
Oh, wonderful.
So start over.
Thanks. Erie County reports 33 new positive cases of COVID-19.
Ah, Erie County.
Yeah, check that.
Let's find out.
I think that's Michigan, but
Sounds
we'll
like
see.
Michigan.
Yeah. But
This says New York.
oh, well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Ooh. Oh, wait. Erie County, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
They're
See?
all over the place.
Pennsylvania.
Erie
That's what I
counties
was
are taking
thinking.
over.
That's why I thought Pennsylvania, because that's where, it's all going down right now. So
There's multiple.
yeah, multiple. But there you go. 33 new positive cases. Amidst
Classic.
the elections, we still have to report the 33 new cases of COVID-19, which is,
It's, the one good thing about this election is the COVID news has really slowed down.
for now, until Biden steps in and we have a dark winter.
Ooh.
And then Canary Cry News Talk listeners will be familiar with the quantum winter that will follow that we reported on a couple episodes ago. But continuing on here with the 33 update. Hold on, I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to do that next. This one here from WashingtonBlade.com. 33 LGBTQ candidates win election to ANC seats across DC.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there you go. At least 33 out of the 47 known LGBTQ candidates running for advisory neighborhood commission seats in all 8 of the city's ward won races on Tuesday. So there you go, DC. 33 LGBTQ candidates taking
What
seats.
a specific number.
Yeah. Very interesting. Coalesce all the things coming together here. And of course, the last 33 update we have today. This is U.Today. Charles Hoskinson turns 33. Here's what he's achieved by this age. Do you know who Charles Hoskinson is, Basil?
Nope.
You have no idea, really?
Not off the top of my head. Is he a crypto guy?
He is the man behind the cryptocurrency Cardano.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ticker symbol
That's why I heard the name.
ADA. And he was one of the co-founders of Ethereum. So he's part of the crew that founded Ethereum and then branched off and made his own thing. And that thing is Cardano. And of course, celebrating his 33rd birthday is pretty interesting because number one, I'm fairly certain that he is a Freemason. He's basically said as much in a couple interviews. And of course, the proof of stake protocol for Cardano is called Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. And their main wallet for Cardano is the Daedalus or Daedalus. I don't know how you pronounce it. But the Daedalus was a skillful architect, craftsman, and artist, and was seen as a symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and power. He's the father of Icarus.
Yeah. Very Masonic. Yep. And I just looking at the chat here, I think we forgot to mention that 33, as far as we know, seems to be the Illuminati dog whistle. It's a messaging number.
You really weren't paying attention earlier.
No, I wasn't. I tuned out.
You tuned out right when I said it.
You needed to repeat it,
Okay,
Gons.
all right, okay.
For those who don't know, nobody knows exactly what it is. There's lots of references to 33 in occult writings and teachings and things like that, but seems to be a number used to signal when put into the mainstream. Well, we don't know exactly what that signal is, but we just like to follow it. It's fun.
Yep. So, there you go. Those are the 33 updates for today. We're triggering listeners because they see it all over the place now, and hey, we can't do anything about it. It's just out there.
Yeah.
So next up, here's your buddy.
Anytime you see the 4 horsemen, it's something special.
This is TechCrunch.com. Elon Musk's Tesla tequila will run you $250 a bottle. Remember
worth it.
Remember when he joked about it on April Fool's?
Yeah. And then it was real.
And then it's now real.
He used it to fund. What did he use it to fund? He started it. I think he needed some capital to build some cars. So he started this tequila brand.
Well, our take on it when he first announced it was that it's, part of the appeal of autonomous driverless cars was that you can drink, while you're in the car. The other thing was, didn't he get sued, or there was somebody going after him because there was like another Tesla tequila company or something, and they wanted to, they wanted to make sure he's not taking the brand name or something like that.
Right.
But the other part of it, the bottle is in the shape of a lightning bolt.
I know. It's very, very chic.
It's chic, but also Luke 10:18. Jesus said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven.
Satan's tequila.
Satan's tequila.
Elon.
Yes, Satan's tequila. And I think the Hebrew word for lightning is barak. So there's a lot of layers there. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yep, very good. Okay, next up.
Elon.
Elon, Barak, lightning, Satan. That's the summary of that one. Okay, next up here.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This is from zerohedge.com. The execution of Americans is free speech. I'm not going to read the article here, but basically what this article reported was that Yahoo was censoring emails, and they were basically not allowing certain emails to send if they were, propagating fake news.
Oh, jeez.
That is really bad. If they're censoring emails between people, that's next level.
That's been the interesting part of the conversation with this social media censorship going on. The sort of metaphor that you can use is, well, how would you like it if the government just, you were talking with your friend on the phone about something they didn't like and they just cut off your phone call? That's
right.
What, sort of the equivalent of 2020 social media censoring is. But this is almost exactly that. I mean, email is almost as boring as a phone call.
Yeah.
And to have that being, but not just boring, but just like so like interpersonal and is not broadcasting. It's one thing to censor broadcasting a thought. It's another thing to have your individual speech between two adult entities, having that canceled is a whole different thing.
Right. Somebody mentioning, is that Winnie the Pooh on the hat of this is, I believe this is supposed to be.
Yes, it is. You guessed it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be.
Gonz loves Winnie the Pooh.
No, not my hat.
Oh,
jeez.
Sorry. I don't have the stream up in front of me. So yes, now I see it. That is Xi Jinping, who is famously looks like Winnie the Pooh in human form.
Yes, that's the
and
joke.
And he hates it. That's one of the biggest censorship things in China is I believe they've completely censored Winnie the Pooh because people who didn't agree with Xi Jinping were using Winnie the Pooh as a stand-in image for their dear leader.
You know what that's like? It would be as if Trump just banned all oranges.
Yeah,
in America,
or Cheetos,
or
Cheetos. You're not allowed to
the color orange
Cheetos.
Just ban the color orange on the internet. That's the equivalent there. But yep. One more quick thing here. We're gonna do a pandemic special and then launch into a main pandemic special waccine article. But here we go.
A pandemic special.
This is a sad story. The Washington Post: Denmark to kill 15 million minks. After coronavirus mutation spreads to humans. And there it is. I mean, I don't know. There's not much else to. We can dig into the article.
Genocide.
It is genocide. It is sad. Just these pictures are horrible too. They got these like.
I mean, I'm pretty sure those minks were at a farm that they were being bred for furs, so they were going to die anyways. But
still, this picture here that has like racks and rows of minks. Cold minks are moved at a farm near Solro, Denmark, like George Soros. It's a metaphor. Ooh. It's a spiritual metaphor for what they want to do to us. after the government's decision to kill all 15 million minks in the country over coronavirus concerns. So I don't know. It's sad, but also it's kind of a weird foreshadow of what they might be doing to us if they really want to lock down and get rid of the virus.
Don't think about it too hard.
I mean, people are aware of that now. It's not. I'm not saying anything that would alarm our listeners. It would trigger the fake news alarmists, but whatever. I don't care if we do that.
Okay. You want to move into the main stories?
Yeah, let's do it here. Let's go. It's another pandemic special.
A pandemic special.
Vaccine.
Okie dokie, folks. Let's get into our main thing here. Been a while since we've had some waccine news to talk about, but in what makes nothing but complete sense, I'm taking this story from sports.yahoo.com.
Oh, yeah.
And the article is titled, "Pay People to Have Coronavirus Vaccine to Achieve Herd Community, Urges Ethicist."
Immunity.
How can we do this in an ethical way?
It's immunity, not herd community. Although that is very people zoo-ish of you.
We'll have to go back to the tapes, but yes, herd immunity.
You said community, bro. I'm listening. Unlike you, I listen to what you read.
I'll have to go to the tapes on that one. The article reads, "An ethicist has suggested people should be paid to have a coronavirus vaccine if an effective jab is developed." Wow, an effective jab. Somebody over at Yahoo is having fun.
It's a sport.
Scientists all over the world are working on an immunization program that could help stem the pandemic, potentially freeing people from the constraints of face coverings, social distancing, and home working. Okay,
I'm getting
like an AI.
I'm getting confirmation from the chat that you said community from everybody.
No, I don't know. I have to go back. I'll have to see the evidence.
Denial.
I don't know. Exposing someone to a harm. Fake news, Gons. Fake news. Don't listen to your liberal lying mob media. Exposing someone to a harmless amount of the virus would help them develop an immune response against it, warding off an infection if it were to be encountered. Okay, you already have a problem here because the vaccines are not traditional vaccines. They are mRNA vaccines.
Right.
They do not work in the same way where you introduce a dead version of the virus to teach your body to fight it. So this is some fake news here on Yahoo. mRNA vaccines reprogram your DNA to create certain proteins to fight off the disease. But let's keep going. If a sufficient number of people get vaccinated, an infection cannot take hold in a community, which is also known as herd community. Around 80... Just messing with you. Around 80% of people are thought to be required to have a coronavirus jab to achieve this, with vaccinations not being compulsory in the UK. Professor Julian Savulescu from the University of Oxford has therefore suggested people be financially incentivized to have the vaccine or offered a payment in kind, like being allowed to forego a face covering if they carry a vaccination certificate. Okay. Not everyone agrees, however, with another expert warning such a move would set a very dangerous precedent.
Yeah, no kidding.
It would set a very dangerous precedent that the government couldn't just force chemicals into your bloodstream without your permission. We wouldn't want to set that precedent, now would we? That's wild. Quote, "To be maximally effective, particularly in protecting the most vulnerable in the population, vaccination would need to achieve herd community." I'm just messing with
I know.
Herd immunity. Professor Savulescu wrote in the Journal of Medical Ethics, quote, "The exact percentage of the population that would need to be immune for herd immunity to be reached depends on various factors, but current estimates range up to 82%. Not everyone can get vaccinated. For example, people whose immune systems are suppressed by chemotherapy. These individuals therefore rely on others to have jabs to create herd immunity." This term jabs, this must be a UK thing. It must be like...
I think this is why it's in the sports section. You know, like that's the only reason why I can think. You know, the algos were like jab, 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 jab. It must be sports, must be boxing, or jab step in basketball. So sports.
Yeah, I think you called it.
Yep.
Quote, vaccines are some of the safest and most effective interventions we have and have achieved incredible successes, said Professor Savulescu. Quote, we no longer face diseases that killed our ancestors, but vaccine hesitancy is on the rise, even for well-established vaccinations. The problem is likely to be bigger for a new vaccine. For established vaccines, some countries have turned to mandatory vaccination schemes. What a great word for that. The global coronavirus death toll has exceeded 1.2 million, with the pandemic also having far-reaching consequences on the economy and people's mental health. Some have therefore called for a coronavirus vaccine, and if and when one becomes available, to be made mandatory. Professor Savulescu believes jabs should be voluntary in general. However, quote, there is a strong case for making any vaccination mandatory or compulsory if 4 conditions are met. Oh goodness. These conditions are a grave threat to public health, the vaccine is safe and effective, the pros outweigh the cons of any suitable alternative, and the level of coercion is proportionate. Jeez.
Yeah, okay.
The level of, not that coercion, a government coercing its people into some sort of mandatory action just isn't like ethically unsound already, but we just need to have a level of coercion that's proportionate. A little bit of coercion is okay. While coercion may sound off-putting, they totally guessed my attitude on this. Professor Savulescu pointed out people have historically been conscripted to serve their country. Okay. We often analogize the pandemic to a war. We are fighting the virus, he wrote. If people can be sent to war against their will, in certain circumstances, some levels of coercion are justified in the war on the virus. Australia also has the no jab, no pay scheme, which withholds child benefits of a youngster if a youngster is not vaccinated. Any mandatory vaccine would ideally be proven to be 100% safe. However, a 0% risk option is very unlikely. Quote, we cannot say whether a mandatory policy of COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus, vaccination is ethically justified until we can assess the nature of the vaccine, the gravity of the problem, and the likely cost benefit of alternatives. And that's the end of it, says Professor Savulescu. So working backwards with a couple of problems with this, just he kind of gives it away there at the end when he's listing these things, the gravity of the problem and the likely cost to benefit of alternatives. So he's already putting in economic language, which we know, and again, everybody knows how we feel about vaccines in general. I am, if you do enough travel, like I've had to get plenty of vaccines to travel to places like Africa and things like that to do the Lord's work. And I'm okay so far. But when you put vaccines, we all know that vaccines are put into this economic model. I mean, it's the whole reason that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation makes, I think, but from Bill Gates's own mouth, they get a 20-to-1 ROI, return on investment, on all the money that they put into vaccines. So, it's big business, which we already know. And then they talk about, let me scroll up a little bit here. Oh my gosh, analogizing the pandemic to a war and saying, hey, it's okay. We can round up all your 18-year-olds and send them overseas to get shot. So we can totally force you to get a vaccine. How horrible of a connection is that to make? I mean, the conscription already has some real intense ethical problems with it. But he likes to make this comparison. It's like, yeah, if the government can take your child away from you and send them over to die overseas, then we certainly should be able to give them the jab, as they say.
Well, plus monetary incentive, and that's part of what they're talking about here too. They say that staunch anti-vaxxers may never be convinced to have a jab. However, incentivizing immunization may persuade those who are more on the fence. Quote, as long as we are accurate in conveying the limitations in our confidence about the risks and benefits of a vaccine, then it's up to the individuals to judge whether they are worth payment. So it's kind of like, all right, let them choose, but also flash some money in front of them. And then they can assess the risk reward ratio and decide for themselves. And, this is like it's a Hegelian dialectic in that, crush the world economy. Everyone's poor. They're losing their jobs. They need money, stimulus check to get everybody used to having government handouts. But also, if you want more, get a jab.
Well, that's what it's going to be, isn't it? Hey, sorry, we shut down your economy. You can't work. You can't pay the bills. Don't worry. Your kind and loving government will give you your stimulus check every single month. We've introduced this UBI, but if we don't get to give you the jab, then you're going to go homeless and hungry. Sorry.
The quotes are just so horrible. Like anybody with just objectively looking at this can see that the quotes of this guy are like super evil villain. I mean, listen to this. Quote, it is not necessarily exploitation if there are protections in place, such as a minimum wage or a fair price is paid to take on risk.
Right.
What? It's not necessarily exploitation. That's a lot of linguistic, semantic dancing around. That's like President Bill Clinton when he was asked what happened in the White House.
Yes. Depends what is.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we see so much, at least over in our country here, we see so much dancing around the vaccine problem, which no matter where you stand on vaccines, if you're not admitting that there is a problem with this mRNA vaccine and forcing people to get it and, admitting the risks, the actual data-driven, evidence-based risks of a new type of vaccine like this, taken straight from the current studies that they're doing, you're just not being intellectually honest. So anybody who's intellectually honest would really appreciate the language that this guy is using, actually.
Yeah.
I like how he's just kind of putting it out there.
Oh, I know. He has no shame.
I know. There's some actual honesty in this article, which is why I love it.
Yeah, and not to be passed over, there is a guy that's quoted in here as the counter sort of logic here, Professor Keith Neal from the University of Nottingham, and he said, quote, paying people to get vaccinated would set a very dangerous precedent. And he goes on, if we did this, people will expect it for other vaccines. Yeah, that's the concern. And also, social media falsehoods would have a field day suggesting it can't be safe if that's what you need to be paid to have it. And he goes on, using vaccines as immunity passports will be worthless as the vaccine may occasionally not protect, and the system could be open to forgeries, much the same as under 18s borrow ID for alcohol. I mean, the counterpoints aren't great. And then he says, we have never had a mandatory vaccination and are not going to start with a new vaccine. So, maybe he's open to the idea of taking some smallpox vaccines and starting there.
Yeah. Jonathan over on YouTube, just to answer your question, says, what's the guy's name we're quoting from? His name is Professor Savulescu from Oxford. He's some sort of ethicist. How much would the government have to pay you to get your vaccine, Gons? Put a number on it. Everybody's got a price.
I'm going to go with 1 quadrillion.
Now you're just being silly.
well, I will. This is my pitch is that I'll take that money, which only exists within the derivatives market. I don't even think there's that many dollars out there in the world. and I will burn half of it, and the rest I will socialize and give everybody an equal amount.
You're like the Joker.
Yeah.
It's not about the money; it's about making a point.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll tax everybody for taking it.
Okay. Okay. I thought you were going to go some sort of overlord, warlord type of route, but you've really found this confusing balance of the Joker and Stalin and the U.S. IRS.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing. No, I'll take all 21 million Bitcoin, and I'll do the same thing.
I was gonna say they'd have to pay me in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so pretty wild, and this is the kind of feelers stuff that's put out there, and I don't know. At least there is a counter in the article, all the way at the bottom, but I'm sure more people are. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. Do you think people are really into it, or you think?
Oh, yeah, the story does continue. Oh my gosh, there's a very long article. No, we should move on.
No, we should. But I'm just saying, do you think people are more people are bound to be like, hey, all right, yeah, give us the vaccine. It'll save, will bring us back to normalcy.
Yeah, of course. Of course people are going to take that because they got kids to feed. If the choice is either we give you some money and you take the vaccine, and of course nobody here, nobody in the chat, nobody watching this show live, I'm talking about normies. Yes, normies will take money to take the vaccine, especially if it's between, okay, we will give you, $1,000 a month, you just got to get vaccinated, or we bust into your house with a SWAT team and take you to a concentration camp, give you the vaccine anyways, and you never get to see your family again. Yeah, I think people are going to take the $1,000.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
That's the situation we're facing, folks. Right now, it's just Dr. What's his name from Oxford. But eventually it'll be a giant robot, and that's when we're going to have to jump into those mech suits and go after him.
That's right.
For Jesus.
All right. What's our next big story here?
Our next story has to do with
demonic power.
Got a couple demonic power stories here. This is heavy.com. Watch. Paula White Cain prays to protect Trump against demonic confederacies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. Paula White
demonic
Cain.
Confederacies.
And by the way, Cain, that's I would like, if I'm like I don't want to say anything. Okay, Paula White Cain, President Trump's spiritual advisor, has gone viral for a prayer service she held on Wednesday, November 4th, as a means of summoning angels to aid in Trump's re-election campaign. In the video, White Cain, oh gosh, talk about neurolinguistic programming, White Cain speaks rapidly and says at one point that demonic covenants and demonic confederacies are trying to hijack the election and the plan of God. Now, before I move on here, let me just say that, I don't know about you, Basil, but I'm of the belief that like God has this, like despite all the chaos and all the craziness, it's like, yeah, God has, he's not giving us the spirit of fear. So to suggest,
I'm not sure a confederate of demons could hijack the plan of God.
Right. But anyway, let's go on. In the video, White Cain says, quote, we break and divide every demonic confederacy against the election, against America, against that who you have declared to be in the White House. We break it up in the name of Jesus. White Cain's prayer service immediately went viral on Twitter, with many people mocking it. One user even made an Eminem remix of the service.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
White Cain was tapped to become a White House staffer during Trump's presidency and is said to head his Center for Faith and Opportunity Initiatives, Mother Jones reported. She has been married 3 times, most recently to her current husband, Jonathan Cain. And it shows the tweet. Should we play it? I don't know. Should we play the clip or...
Which clip?
It's this is
her prayer.
Yeah, this is the prayer.
Sorry, I was watching the Eminem remix.
Oh, of course. We don't have to.
I don't know. I don't care.
Well, let's
strike and strike and strike and strike and strike.
Okay, we got it. White's prayer service streamed live at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. In the service, she encouraged people to join her in praying for the nation. During the service, White spoke directly to God, saying in part with repetition, this is a quote, "For you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of shouting and singing, God. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of abundance and rain. I hear a sound of victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now." At that point in the service, White appeared to begin speaking in tongues. She then further specified that the angels being dispatched were coming from Africa and then from South America. The very specific where these angels are coming from. And then it goes into kind of her history of going viral and some of the other things. She says during her prayer service, quote, "In the name of Jesus, we command all satanic pregnancies to miscarry right now." Well, yeah, pretty heavy stuff there.
Okay.
She goes, and it goes on here, but this is heavy.com. So it's sort of it's always going to be a secular,
of course,
hit piece type on anything religious. That being said, go ahead.
Real quick. Yeah. Ebony Blaze in the chat points out with regard of white cane, like a white cane that a blind person uses.
Oh,
you know, the little tappy stick.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she's like the white cane blind leading the blind.
Very good.
That's something.
Very good.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of spiritual linguistic programming happening there. But yeah, this is one of those things where, as a fellow follower of Jesus, you hope that these folks that seem to, you don't know their individual relationship with God or anything like that. It's not necessarily for us to determine. You hope for the best, but at the same time, it's kind of like, man, it's going to look real bad if it does turn out that Biden wins and Trump steps down, and it would mean that it kind of like disqualifies God, based on her premise here, and that the angels aren't strong enough, the demonic horde won, and all kinds of stuff that would, I wouldn't necessarily call biblical, or it's just a poor application of the truth in a modern political context. So I always shy away from it, but it's just one of those issues where, boy, what do you do? What do you do,
Basil?
Basil?
I mean, honestly, the thing is, Trump likes to have good-looking blonde women as his advisors.
That's true.
And that's probably why she was chosen over Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
And, to be fair, she's of some sort of charismatic persuasion.
Yes.
I don't really know much about her, but that's obvious with even just this story. And I grew up in, charismatic traditions. And so when I see somebody doing that type of, I don't know, display in a prayer service, it's not really strange to me, but I can totally see how that would be absolutely bonkers to somebody who did not come up in that type of Christian tradition.
Well,
so
the other thing,
I do want to be sensitive. I know that is very strange for people. When I hear that, I'm like, oh, okay, it's Sunday again, I guess. Things can get pretty rowdy.
Right. The other thing, I thought it was pretty funny too, that there was a Babylon Bee post that said that a bunch of charismatics are turning to Biden. This is like a week ago before the election, that a bunch of charismatics have changed their vote to Biden after he speaks in tongues, after all those clips of Biden, just saying, stumbling his words.
And when I become president, I did. Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, this is that's one form of, I don't know. It's just the age of deceit that we're living in, I guess. And I know it's the topic of speaking in tongues and that sort of thing is sensitive to certain people or certain segment of believers. And some people really into it. Other people aren't. I wouldn't judge someone's faith based on whether they speak in tongues or not. But certainly when it's on display like this and it's in the context of politics, that's when I really shy away from it and think, okay, this is there was something in the whole Constitution thing about separation of church and state. But obviously to appeal to a certain crowd, you're going to have to speak religious speak. And that's kind of what this is, in my opinion. But this isn't the only place where you can talk about demonic power, though.
Demonic power!
That's your cue. Oh, this is my cue.
Yes.
Okay. Here I go. I'm on the ball today. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle, sfchronicle.com. Faith groups pray, sing in post-vote ritual in New York. So from San Francisco to New York, we're reporting on this story. Buddhists, Christians, Jews, Muslims, and people of other faiths prayed and sang together in post-election solidarity Wednesday afternoon in New York City, even as the outcome of the hotly contested and polarizing vote was still in doubt.
Well, San Francisco Chronicle,
Yeah, good point. Gathering outside a church in Manhattan's Greenwich. Do they pronounce? Is that Greenwich Village? I think they pronounce it Greenwich Village. They stamped their feet on the pavement, sang gospel hymns, looked skyward in prayer, and chanted words of hope to the beat of a drum. Quote, "We are here together as we figure out how to make a just and loving democracy, no matter the outcome of this election," said Reverend Jacques Lewis, pastor of Middle Collegiate Church in East Village. Quote, "We've been here before," Lewis said outside the Judson Memorial Church near Washington Square Park. Quote, "We know how to wait for change. We know how to wait with hope. It's a budding interfaith." Hold on. My VR goggles are all blurry at the bottom. It's a budding interfaith coalition first held 4 years ago. After Donald Trump was elected president this year, it came against a backdrop of not only the election, but also protests over racial injustice and the ongoing coronavirus pandemic that has new cases spiking all across the country. The group of about 20. Oh, that's a smaller group than I expected. The group of about 20. It's hard to imagine a gathering of people nowadays, doing some sort of public ritual that's only about 20 people. The group of about 20 broke into a call and response led by Lewis, who pumped her right fist in the air. At home, people watched remotely via Zoom and social media. The Reverend Derek McQueen of St. James Presbyterian Church in Harlem played a djembe drum. Wow, that's been a while. And asked the crowd to reflect on the election. Oh, man.
There's a picture
drums.
Here. There's a picture here where in the background there's a poster that says "Beyond Babel." That's really interesting.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what it means.
This?
I'm just scrolling through the photos here, and I thought it would. That's what it said on one of the earlier photos. So I was scrolling through.
Oh, I see that now. Yeah, interesting.
And there's a clearer shot of it, and yeah, it's "Beyond Babel." Huh.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Wake up, sheeple. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have to play djembe drums in worship bands?
Not in worship, but I do have
classic. At least in my generation of middle school, high school worship, small worship groups, there was always a djembe drum.
It's like the spiritual flow instrument.
It was very much like somebody's been to Africa and they brought back a djembe drum, and then everybody else just bought them on Amazon. Quote, "As we stand here on the precipice of this historic event, no matter how it works out, we still believe in the power of the people," McQueen said. Quote, "We are the people, and we have the power. So the question I ask you today is, what promises do you stand on today?" Interesting, Mr. McQueen. I'm not sure by what perspective we can honestly say that we, the people, have any power at this point, but okay if you say so. And also notably no mention of, any sort of God or any spirituality there, but okay. Around a circle of yellow autumn leaves. Around a circle of, sorry, I am a little like jumbled today. Around a circle of yellow autumn leaves, participants chalked in aspirational words on the street: peace, freedom, equity, love. Quote, I came here because my God is not in Washington, D.C., so there's something higher than this situation. Right now, it's hope and prayer, said King Berger, 78, a member of Judson Memorial, who was wearing a red and white and blue mask with images of Democrats Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on a T-shirt that read, loving one another is essential work. I needed something that centers me and moves me forward, Berger said, and this is it. As Imam Khalid Latif of the Islamic Center at New York University led the group in prayer, the Reverend Chris Long, assistant minister of the Community Church of New York, closed his eyes and lifted his palms. Clad in a kente stole and a T-shirt with the image of George Floyd, Long said the gathering energized him at a difficult moment. Quote, it lessens the anxiety, he said. I'm inspired anew. I wonder if there was any Trump supporters at this little ritual.
Doesn't seem like it.
Does not sound like it, does it?
It seems like the Trump supporters went to a lot of them went to the white cane spiritual prayer, and then the Biden camp came to the interfaith prayer thing here.
Oh, good point. Yes, we do have sort of contrasting spiritual rituals happening here.
Yeah, which is something to point out, and it's been a theme of our show here is to really investigate or at least talk about the spiritual undercurrent going on and all of the things happening in the world. So this is a conversation where you can really look it up. But I still want to know what the Beyond Babel thing is. That's really interesting to me. Like what are they trying to say? Like, are
Chili? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I just laughed because Chili over on the YouTube says rituals are so 2020. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Beyond Babel, that can have several different directions that moves in.
I know.
One is like Beyond Babylon, like yay, don't just turn away and never look back. Or it could be like, yes, Beyond Babel.
Like the first time we tried Babel, we couldn't take down God, but this time we will go beyond Babel.
I'm going to do a quick Google search here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Beyond. Did you search it?
I did
anything
not.
come up?
I did not. I'm going to let you do it with your googly eyes.
I'll do it. What do you think about this prayer, this interfaith prayer movement, Gons?
Well, we reported on the three monotheistic faiths coming together under the Pope last episode, where they were going to create a Christian, more so Catholic, worship center next to a Jewish worship center next to a Islamic worship center, and so this is a similar vein here. Although, did it mention like Buddhism or any kind of Eastern philosophy here? Yeah, it said
there was Buddhists there.
Yeah, but Buddhists kind of intermingle with all the different faiths there.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the interesting about Buddhism is you can, according to Buddhists, you can be Buddhist and anything.
Right.
You can be a Buddhist Christian or a Buddhist Muslim or a Buddhist atheist.
Right. Somebody, it's interesting. Somebody in the chat, Cody, is talking about the two scores of the presidential election. 264 versus 214 equals 666. Wrong. I don't think that adds up to 666.
Well, you gotta
nice
check them out
try.
there.
Nice try.
So here's Beyond Babel.
Okay.
Beyond Babel is a critically acclaimed new theatrical dance show created by Keone and Mary Madrid and Hideaway Circus following a hit run in San Diego. Beyond Babel is now playing a limited run off Broadway. So it's playing in New York. It's not anything. It's a poster for a dance show.
Well, see, again...
But it happens to be in the picture.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It might be some spiritual imprint giving away the true spiritual agenda here,
Inspired by Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Beyond Babel is about the division of families, friends, and a community of people as authorities decide to build a wall between them.
Oh.
We follow two divinely linked lovers as they reconcile with the rising tensions of a populace cut in half. The show is set to a contemporary soundtrack and features a cast of 12 elite dancers.
Ooh, 12.
Ooh.
Like the...
Yeah, so I mean,
Disciples.
It makes sense that sort of symbolically it would make it into the background of a picture of this ritual.
Yeah. Well, we're digging up the truth here.
Oh my gosh, Gons.
What?
Beyond Babel also features large crochet backdrops, art installation, and yarn-based props.
Okay.
This is a blast. I gotta go see this show. Oh, great. And yes, the thumbnail of the trailer they have on their website, includes people making the 666 sign with their fingies.
Yeah, over their eyes, too.
Yeah, over their eyes. Okay, there you go. That's what it is.
Good
Found
stuff.
it.
Great. Excellent.
Fact checked.
Fact check. Are we ready to take a break here and thank some
I'm ready.
people? All right, let's
do it.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got a great second half of show here. We're talking about Satanists, and, well, more Satanists. Let's see here. We've got trans Satanist anarchist Republican running for sheriff somewhere. We've also got Aleister Crowley making an appearance. So you're going to want to stick around after the break because we've got to figure out what they're up to. But before that, we are going to thank some of our producers. We're going to look at some art. We're going to listen to some jingles and music. It's going to be a fun time, but we're going to jam right through it. Short list of producers today, so don't be afraid. Don't leave. Just stay here. Every time we go into a break, we lose about 10% of the live viewers, which I understand. You got things to do. That's okay. But if you don't know, we like to thank our producers. Producers, you say? Yes, producers. That's because we are on the value for value model. You might notice that we don't do any advertising on the show. That's because we decided long ago that you, dear listener, are a human being with a soul and a mind and a destiny that it makes you a little bit more than just a commodity or piece of cattle to be loaded up on a trailer and sold to corporations for our own personal gain. That's right. The advertising industry incentivizes guys like Gons and I to consider you, dear listener, a commodity, something to be traded. You give us your trust and attention for a few hours a week, and for us to turn around and sell that trust and attention to an advertiser just didn't seem right to us. It was probably a bad business decision on our side, but that's okay. At least we can sleep well at night. And so instead of taking advantage of you kind, dear people, we run on the value for value system, which is basically this. We create a show. We do it a few times a week, and we like to think we do a pretty good job. And, many of you come back show after show after show, and we're so happy to have you here. And if you get any value out of this show whatsoever, whether it's just entertainment or education or analysis or, jokes, I don't know what you get out of this show, but I'm glad you get something. You have the opportunity to put something back in because this is a family affair, folks. Which is actually more true than it's probably good to admit, because we couldn't do the show without you. And not just our financial producers, but also those with talent, creating art and jingles and music, and also those who, help out with their time, creating the Canary Cry community social media site and the merch perch site and the everything. It's really run by, dozens of producers, just on the talent and time side. And we ask also that if you get anything out of the show, you come in, you help us pay for it. And there's a few ways to do that. One of the ways to do that is by going to patreon.com/ccnt for Canary Cry News Talk. And that's an easy, fast way to do it. And Gons, we got 2 new Patreon producers.
Fantastic.
Which is great news because the past couple weeks has been very sad over there on Patreon. But patreon.com/ccnt. And Gons, are you ready to thank somebody?
Ready.
Okay, I want to thank, first of all, producer Eric coming in with 33.33, coming in with the 33 producership. We're taking it back, folks. And a lot of it is thanks to producer Eric. So thank you very much.
Thank you, producer Eric.
Next, we have producer Aaron, Aaron.
Thank you,
very much,
Aaron.
producer Aaron, coming in at no specific producership, but thank you very much for your generous support. And I think that's all we got. Maybe let me pop over to Patreon real quick, make sure nobody came in during the show. I should have had this open before we started the segment. But look how fast I am in my VR world. And loading. Nope. No, that's it. Eric and Aaron, thank you very, very much. Now, we also have another show called Canary Cry Radio. This is not that show. I know it's confusing. This is Canary Cry News Talk, but you should check out our other show, Canary Cry Radio. It's an interview-style show interviewing all sorts of people who have a lot of great info to inform your biblical worldview, as well as your fringy worldview and your supernatural worldview. A lot of great stuff going on over there. And we had a couple producers come in on the Canary Cry Radio Patreon. That's patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. And I want to thank our new producer, Parker.
Thank you, Parker.
Thank you very much, producer Parker. And last but not least, producer Lauren444.
All right. Thank you, Lauren444.
Thank you very, very much. Now, here's the thing, folks. If you want to become a producer, but you just hate Patreon, there's all sorts of reasons to not want to use Patreon, but that's okay. You can head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a great place to find all sorts of ways to support the show, become a producer. We've got PayPal options. You can come in with a monthly producership, or if commitment is not your thing, you can come in with a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and other fun things like that. Gons, who do we have coming in over on the PayPal?
On the PayPal, we have, first off, Sylvan Handwovens.
Oh, Handwovens.
Sylvan Handwovens. Yeah.
Is that a company or is that a person?
I'm not 100% sure.
I've seen Sylvan before. We've thanked a producer, Sylvan. I wonder if this is the same one.
It looks like a company.
Maybe producer Sylvan started a company.
Here we go. SylvanHandwovens.com. Yeah, you can go there. It's a shop, fashion accessories, home decor.
And producer of Canary Cry News Talk.
Yeah,
so check it out.
Very cool. They got like neck warmers and beanies and very cool stuff. So yeah, check it out. I will drop that link in the chat. So thank you, Sylvan Handwovens, and producer of the show.
Thank you, Sylvan.
We also, whoa, are you okay over there? Is something to rattle?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. We also have producer Kevin. Thank you, producer Kevin.
Thank you very much, producer Kevin. Coming in with the 2021
is that for
producership.
Is that for the next year?
It seems like something.
Yeah, it's got to be something somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, producer Kevin. Next up, we have producer Dot Eyewear. Yeah.
Dot Eyewear.
Yeah, it's interesting how we have a couple. Looks like people that run businesses or something. Are they producing. Maybe they're sneaking
in some advertising?
But that's okay if you're a listener of the show and you do stuff. You have a business or something that you want mentioned on the show. We will happily do that for you. And you can go to eyewear.com. It's in the chat there for anyone who wants to check it out. And it looks like they're doing these are sunglasses, I think. Each frame has been master crafted by hand, meticulously designed to suit all face shapes and sizes.
Okay,
there you go.
Can't do an actual ad.
I'm just reading the website, man.
Thank you very much, Eyewear. Check it out if you guys are looking for sunglasses.
Yep.
Oh, some of these are pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad.
Send me some sunglasses. You can get our email.
Yeah,
not our email. Our snail mail address. Snail mail. On our website.
The problem will be they'll have to handcraft those, giant glasses for your googly eyes.
If they send me some sunglasses that are this big, oh my gosh, my entire world just shut down. But if you do, I'll wear them on the show. I will then plug Eyewear.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eyewear. We next have producer Laura.
Thank you very much, producer Laura.
And do we mention the amount? I don't know. There's a 33 in there.
I was going to actually talk to you about this. I don't know if we should do it on or off air. Sometimes there's some very generous producers, and we generally don't read amounts unless it is one of the special donation amounts. But I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Last but not least, producer Aaron. Coming in big. I think this is the executive producer of the show.
That's right. Producer Aaron. The executive producer.
Yes. And we have two Aarons, both, the AARONs coming in. I was making sure that they weren't the same ones. We had one come in for the CCNT Patreon, but this is a different Aaron. And he says, thank you for what you guys do. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for your producership, producer Aaron.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Very, very important that we get all sorts of generous producers coming in. It keeps the show going, keeps food in Gonza's multiple babies' mouths. And now I've got a cat that has cancer. I have to pay
so sad.
For some medication with. So this is all very helpful, and we cannot do the show without you guys. So thank you very, very much.
Yes, very generous. And producer Aaron could be well on his way to knighthood.
Yeah, you're on your way, producer Aaron. I'm excited for when we can introduce a new knight or dame to the Canary Cry round table of knights and dames. If you don't know, that is the elite circle of producers who, over the years, or one or two times all at once, have given in the amount of $1,000 or more to the show. And that's great. A lot of people, are on monthly subscriptions, and they'll reach that in a matter of time. And it's a fun, special group of people. That's what we got. So there you go. Now, remember, we don't do the accounting. So if you think you've given in the amount of $1,000 or more, send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com with your own accounting. Because we don't, that's too hard for us to do.
Numbers, counting, too much.
Yeah.
Other ways you can support us with your treasure, canarycryradio.com/crypto. We don't have any crypto support today.
Okay.
But the other ways that you can contribute to the show without your treasure, but more with your talent and time, is with jingles and artwork. And there's a few updates to mention here. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, my eyeballs are crushing things.
Eyeballs, microphones falling. We need to do something about your setup over there. I wanted to first off thank producer Marius. Thank you, producer Marius.
Thank you, producer Marius.
He is the one who gave us the Canary coffee.
Oh, we found you.
We found the person. Yes.
Thank you, Marius.
Yeah. So they said they're from the Victoria, British Columbia, and it says that they found the Canary coffee at a local organic food shop. And so when he saw it, he thought it was a new venture for us. which is very generous of you to think that we have such organized efforts over here.
Something out.
We're so organized that
the organization required to start a coffee company is probably outside of our purview without some outside help.
Yeah, but we appreciate the coffee. It was meant to keep me awake during the baby.
And some great rebranding ideas.
Yeah. We'll contact them and maybe
just gonna steal their logo.
Hey, they're in Canada, isn't there? There's some. There's no crop. We don't live in.
They don't have trademarks in Canada.
It's all owned by the Queen anyway, right?
We'll burn Canada, burn.
Yeah. So the reason why we're bringing Marius up for this occasion is not just for the coffee, but for the jingles. Sent in a couple jingles. This one is labeled "Gather Round."
Gather round, everybody! Come on, gather round! Got another letter here.
Which is
nice.
It's a perfect a jingle to play to introduce handwritten notes or letters, which we also
the snail mail.
Yeah, the snail mail, which I did get another one. I haven't gotten through all of it, but that's a perfect jingle for that.
Did you do a pickup? You do a supply drop?
I didn't have an opportunity because in-laws were in town, so I couldn't do it yesterday. But usually I do pick up on Thursday. Yeah. The other jingle they sent was the postman.
You're a godsend. Savior.
No, I'm just the postman.
So not a savior, just a postman. Very good.
Funny. We could put some together, Gons. You could put put some sauce on both of those.
Yeah, I can probably do some stuff and make things happen. But yeah, thank you, producer Marius, for the coffee and for the jingles. So we appreciate that.
Mrs. Habibi K. Mrs. Habibi K on Twitch says, "Can we send you snail mail baby gifts?" Yeah. Yes, you can send me snail mail baby gifts. Gons, can you have snail mail baby gifts?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And just we don't have any snail mail today, but if you want our address, you can go to canarycryradio.com/support. And the snail mail address is on there. I will just say it because people get it mixed up all the time. The PO box is under Gonz's name, so use the address exactly as it is on the website. Don't put Canary Cry Radio on the address. It will not make it to us. It will be sent back to you.
Well, there's a possibility that it'll make it, but sometimes I have received mail there with the Canary Cry Radio.
Don't listen to Gons. Don't confuse them. Because I get emails all the time of people trying to send us mail and they put Canary Cry Radio on the address. So don't do that. You got to put Gons Shimura on the address.
Okay. All right. Okay. The other couple jingles that we have here, we actually have songs that were sent in. And this one we skipped. We didn't skip. We forgot to do it in the last episode. It's from Objectivity Cave 11. And he put together this song. Do you want to just play the whole thing here, Basil? Because it's less than a minute. It's about 50 seconds long.
Yeah. Would you rather do that than put it in the mix?
Yeah, the mix
is kind of long.
It's getting long. Yeah. So we'll play it right now. This is, I don't know if there's a title. Was there a title to the song?
I don't know. I don't have the email pulled up.
Yeah. Let me try to do it here real quick.
I'm distracted.
I know you're always distracted. It's a silly song for the show is what he labeled it. There doesn't seem to be a true title, but
okay,
here it is.
Creepy cyborg arms and demon kids ruling over us. At least we have the screams and the basil eyes.
Oh yeah.
Hat. There's a hat on the man. Hat on the man with the hands together like he's praying. I pray to. Praying to Christ. He's good, I'm not. My family doesn't get along like this one, but it's okay. At least we're not demon cyborgs.
Right.
Yet.
Not cyborg, demon cyborgs yet.
Yet. Yeah, it sounded like some. I got a couple of things.
Mhm.
Number one, it kind of gave me. Did you ever listen to Me Without You?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've heard that band.
Christian-ish.
I don't know if are they Christian.
Sort of metal experimental band.
Yeah.
Kind of gave me some Me Without You vibes.
I was going to say the original guitarist of Red Hot Chili Peppers, his name is John Frusciante, and he had a solo album, which he recorded. I think he was strung out on heroin. I'm not saying Objectivity Cave is, but he did have an album where I think he was on some kind of drugs anyway. And it was all like demo tape stuff. And it kind of reminded me of that kind of like, what's the word? The Discord, not Discord. The
discordant is a minor key.
Yeah, minor keys.
Some minor key stuff.
Yeah. So experimental sounding. I like it. I can get used to it.
I like it too. I'm assuming there was some improvisational work involved there.
Yeah.
It's like, you just stare at the Canary Cry News Talk broadcast and just sing what comes.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Objectivity. Is this?
Yeah, it's the same one as the one in the chat.
The one.
Yeah, the one.
Okay, Objectivity from the chat.
Yep.
Thank you very much, buddy. Hope things are going well.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you get a gong.
I do like the reference to the Canary Cry family. I say it all the time. This is a family affair.
Yeah.
And even if your family doesn't get along, that's okay. We get along here.
Yes, it's a very important point. And the other jingle that we received was from... I'm trying to find the email itself here. It was from Brian and his daughter Molly, who is the singer of this track. Yeah. And
you want to play a couple seconds of that?
Sure.
And then,
it's going to get stuck in your head. It's going to be in the outro or the playlist at the end.
Yes.
But here's a little taste right now. Yeah, we'll get
fun.
We'll get through the whole thing. Really appreciate it.
I got the email right here.
Yeah.
Should we read some of it?
Yeah, I have it pulled up too, but go for it if you have some sections to read here.
This is from producer Brian. We love reading some emails. And remember, if you send us an email, make sure to say in the email if you don't want us to read some of it. I will always leave out identifying features, but I thought this was a cool one because I love learning about all the different kinds of people who listen to the show. And this is from producer Brian. Hey guys, I've been listening to you guys from the very beginning. I had found you through Chris White's aggregate website, revelationradio.com, when he started Canary Cry. I'm a musician that has worked professionally in the music industry, and I worked with Tom Dunn on the music for the Detestable movie. The only reason I bring that up is to mention that one of my current projects / bands, Acrolith, had a song on the Hovindication compilation. What was that? A Kent Hovind?
Yeah, the Kent Hovind Get Him Out of Jail soundtrack that I think Sam Swanson over at Slave to Servant put together. It was like a collection of artists to raise some money for Kent Hovind.
That's cool. Yeah, and he mentions here along with your project / band Slave to Servant, which is something you and Sam have been working on, as well as let you know that I am attaching a song that my daughter and I did 2 years ago called Robot Girls, Robot Boys. My daughter wrote the music and lyrics when she was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So cool. And we recorded it about 2 years ago. She did the vocals and I played all the instruments. Sorry that it's rough because there's more fun and we never really planned to, quote, release it. Plus, I'm a guitarist and not a drummer, but I hacked my way through the drums for so long. Don't worry, Brian. You played excellent drums. I can't get the move my feet and my hands thing.
You're not a drummer? I thought you can play every instrument.
I can play a mean djembe. but I've tried so hard to get the drum set going,
Really?
and I just get too frustrated with the footwork. I can't get the footwork.
Are you? It's fun when you finally. It's a lot of like muscle memory stuff.
Yeah, it just hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah.
You know, I've been told that there's a moment that it just clicks.
Oh,
and
it does.
has not
It feels
clicked.
It feels really good when it does too. Yeah,
I got to keep working on it. I do have a drum set here, but okay. The email continues. I thought it might be fun to send it to your way since it's about, well, an invasion of robots, and the topic of transhumanism is an increasing point of interest / concern on the show. After all these years of enjoying the show, I think it's about time I contribute something in the way of producership. Not wanting to be remiss in supporting where it really counts, I also made a financial contribution through my PayPal account, which is under the name Zero Sum Records. Oh, we thanked him last episode.
Yeah.
I'm almost 50 years old. Ooh, nice. So I feel like I'm almost 50 years old. So it feels a bit odd to resonate with a much younger crowd, but because I've been deep into fringe Christianity and studying all the topics that you cover for the past 30 years, I feel at home in Canary Land. Here are a few download codes, and then he sends us some codes to some other projects that he's been working on. So very cool. Thank you, producer Brian. So yes, Robot Girls, Robot Boys will be playing at the Canary Cry mixtape at the end of the show. Do not miss it. It's very fun. His daughter wrote the lyrics when she was 9 years old. That is one woke kid.
I was going to say, that's a woke 9-year-old.
That is great. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Thank you very much, producer Brian.
Thank you, producer Brian, and daughter Molly for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now let's get into the other ways that people produce the show is with art.
One art, please.
We have a couple pieces of art to share with you today. First one is from Jay Vela. This one is called Spiritual Warfare. And it's pretty straightforward. It's looks like angels battling it out.
Yeah, some angels and some like fallen angels battling it out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I love the style. Jay Vela. You nailed it again.
I know.
We've got 3 angels in gold armor on the right. We've got what looks like 3 fallen angels on the left with some nice turquoise skin. And yep, they're just going at it.
Yeah, this is probably more accurate than the white cane description.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right. But yes, thank you, Jay Vela. Very awesome. As always, the style, I really dig it. So thank you for that. And also we have one from producer Ali.
Oh, wonderful.
Gazel and Bonds in the chat. This one is called Biden Acceptance Speech.
Ooh.
And it's a very good rendition. Pencil, I think, drawing of, or charcoal. Is it charcoal or pencil?
I don't
charcoal. Of Biden in typical Ali fashion.
Yeah, looking great.
And the caption
Look at
says...
the shading on those cheekbones, baby.
I know, it's really well done. And the caption is of Biden saying, I won the thing.
I think that's an exact quote.
Yeah, probably.
Got some lizard eyes in there too, Gons.
Oh, very subtle.
Yeah, see? I know it is very subtle. It's very good, though. She's always good at making sure that the truth is revealed in her art.
Yeah.
And
I can't look past that stuff.
Yes. And I just want to mention to Ali and Charlie, I got your email, and I will be sending you that soon.
Whoa.
Okay.
Super coded language.
It's just, honestly, it's easier for me to respond to emails on the show than it is to actually get back to somebody on email. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the past 3 episodes, I'll just respond to somebody's email on the air.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I don't know if I'm breaching some sort of, confidentiality, but I'm just letting them know. Got the email. I'll get back to you.
It's just so, it doesn't help the other listeners for you to be like, hey, you. Got it.
Well, it's not. It's a fun reminder that you can actually interact with us. Now, I will say I do apologize to all the people who have sent me emails that I have not gotten back to. There are so many of you, and some people get really frustrated with me.
Well, us,
and they've got frustrated with both of us because it's just hard. It's hard to get back to everything. If we spent as much time as we should on returning emails, this really would be an everyday, all day gig. We do the best we can. We're so sorry. It's not because we don't like you or don't want to get back to you. We only have so much time and energy. We can do it. So,
I just love the way you were like cryptic about it. Like, I got your email and I'll get back to you.
Well, it's because Allie has a surprise for all of us.
Ooh, okay. Yes. So there you go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. We're moving on.
Okay. Before everything gets exposed. Allie exposed.
Oh my gosh.
Let's move on. Yes, let's move on. We don't have any snail mail to report today. Timestamps that night win. Thank you very much for continuing to do that. And also Canary Cry merch perch. I think we did receive a note from producer Dust about the update on that. I think he's getting ready to unleash a whole bunch of new products. It's in the works as always.
Great.
And I think there's I did see an email about a calendar as well. So there's a lot of stuff in the works here that will probably be available.
Is it the tour calendar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I did see that. That looks very fun.
Yeah, it looks good. It's going to have some interesting, dates, important dates that will come in handy for your fringy types to know about. So something to look out for. So thank you, all the producers out there, the recurring producers on PayPal as well. We really appreciate it, as well as Patreon. And, we're really grateful. We're thankful for all of you. We couldn't do this without you. So thank you so much.
That's right. Very, very important. And let's see. I think you nailed it. I think we got everything. Was there anything else to mention in this break? I don't think so. I think it's time to wake up.
Okay.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Wake up, sheeple. Okay, we're gonna grab our first second half of show thing here from ManchesterInkLink.com. Manchester Ink Link. And it says, so what's next for trans satanic anarchist who lost her bid for Cheshire County Sheriff? Oh, okay. So this was in the UK, it sounds like.
He's a Satanist.
Maybe 2020 wasn't meant to be the year of the trans woman anarchist who is also founder of a satanic church at the ballot box. But Keene's Aria de Mezzo is proud of the race she ran for Cheshire County Sheriff as the Republican candidate. What is this? NH. This is in New Hampshire? Cheshire County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not the UK. For some reason, I thought it was the UK. Quote, nope, I already read that one. Yeah, okay. Quote, I ran the best campaign I could have, and brought the ideas of liberty to people who otherwise hadn't heard them. So I'm tremendously happy with the campaign. Always a bit of a long shot candidate for the county sheriff's position, de Mezzo garnered 7,950 votes to Democratic incumbent Eli Rivera's 27,674, according to the unofficial vote tallies. De Mezzo, who ran and lost in 2018 while running as a libertarian, said this is her last run for sheriff. Man, maybe I should run for sheriff. That sounds awesome.
Sheriff Rosewater.
Sheriff Basil here to keep the peace. Not in my town. Quote, 2 times is enough, and this was likely the strongest an anarchist was going to get. De Mezzo said, quote, 25% was an impressive showing for a well-known Satanist anarchist trans woman, and I think it bodes well for the future. Well, ever the optimist this De Mezzo is. De Mezzo said she decided to try again as a Republican this year when she found about perennial Republican candidate Earl Nelson was not going to run. Nelson was dealing with cancer treatments over the summer and had intended to bow out. When DeMezzo became the nominee, she mounted a write-in campaign to give Republican voters another choice. Nelson ended up with fewer than 3,000 votes. Despite her anarchist leanings, DeMezzo said her views line up pretty squarely with most Republicans. Interesting. Quote, Republicans are all about smaller government, lower taxes, and gun rights. They are not going to find someone more in favor of smaller government, lower taxes, and gun rights than I am. I just happen to take a little bit further than they do, DeMezzo said last month. Quote, there is nothing I stand for that is not part of the GOP platform. On paper, they agree with everything I said. DeMezzo ran on a platform of promising to stop the prosecution of laws she deemed as victimless, like drug crimes and sex crimes. What? How is sex crimes victimless?
I don't know.
That's not right.
Maybe she's talking about like, prostitution type stuff, not like abuse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
DeMezzo. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. DeMezzo ran on a platform of promising to stop prosecution of laws she deems as victimless, like drug crimes and sex crimes. Her campaign slogan was "F the police." Well, for a sheriff campaign. Well, DeMezzo, jeez, I gotta say, politically, I kind of like this person. I mean, I don't like the F the police thing, but yeah, sounds like the small government candidate. Anyways, while DeMezzo hasn't announced her next political campaign, she is adamant she will not run again for sheriff. I won't even try to be your sheriff. Don't ask me. Quote, I'll leave running for the same office and losing repeatedly to others who want to do that, she said. Okay, well, there you go. Wow. Yeah, that is not the traditional looking sheriff. Gons, what do you think?
Well, the part that really stuck out to me was running as a Republican. And I think the reason why I wanted to include this article was because I think this is just the beginning of seeing all kinds of, identity type stuff with gender and whatever, running as, one party or another. And see, as you mentioned, you were like, oh, I like her policies. And we're being politically correct here by calling her, but
sure.
But you had mentioned how you like the policies that, smaller government, lower taxes and gun rights. But, it's going to come to the point where a lot of people in this country or perhaps around the world, they're going to be, what are you going to do when you have to, or I guess you can not vote. That's a, perfectly fine option. A lot of people will be forced to, or maybe feel like they're forced to vote for the, what is this? What did they do? Identify trans woman, anarchist, and founder of Satanic Church, because
that's a tough sell for a lot of Republicans.
I know it's a tough sell, but what if the other person is a raging liberal leftist communist?
Pastor.
Pastor. What are you gonna do? So that's
is where a great question. That is a very interesting sort of exploration in voting. If a candidate lines up with all of your policy requirements but has some sort of identity issue, you have a problem.
Or ideological problems.
Right. That's better said. That's very interesting. Sounds like she got quite a bit of the votes, all things considered.
25%. Yeah. But so it'll become a question that people will have to ask themselves is, hey, do I vote for the candidate whose policies I like, or do I vote for the candidate that aligns with me ideologically? And I think it's a good sort of exercise in, thinking about politics in general and how we're always presented with A or B. It's never a third option or a group of options. It's more one or the other, and it's a very limited type of control mechanism that controls us. Vote.
Yeah,
go vote.
Exactly. Mike says, "Arise, chicken" in the YouTube chat. Arise, chicken. Okay, you got another one for us?
I have another one. Yeah, this is a very interesting story.
He's a Satanist.
Another Satanist story here. This is why you thought UK. This is from dailyrecord.co.uk. Fears Loch Ness house, once owned by wickedest man in world, will become Satanist shrine over plans for holiday homes. And this is it's a lot to take in, but let me read through this. Protesters have demanded council bosses throw out plans to turn the former home of a notorious occult leader into holiday lodges. Opponents claim Boleskine House, Boleskine House on the shores of Loch Ness will also become a pilgrimage site for Satanists if a planning application is given the green light. The house is currently owned by Keith Reddy, who placed it into the care of a charitable foundation. It used to be the Highland home of Led Zeppelin's guitarist Jimmy Page, and more significantly, infamous occultist, philosopher, and ceremonial magician Aleister Crowley, who died in 1947. He founded an occult religious movement named Thelema and styled himself as a prophet. Crowley drank blood and staged huge orgies fueled by heroin and cocaine. He also called himself the Beast 666, the wickedest man in the world, and had his teeth filed into fangs. He was one of the founding prophets of the Ordo Templi Orientis, also known as OTO, or Order of the Temple of the East. In 2015, a major fire devastated the B-listed Georgian building, stripping out the interior and collapsing the roof. To help raise money for the project and repair the damage, Reddy's sold pieces of the building with authentication certificates to collectors online. The planning application, lodged with Highland Council under the mansion house's Gaelic name of Bail O's Scene, I think, shows plans to create 10 holiday twin units with a reception area, car parking, and the installation of a sewage treatment plant. Guided tours of the main building and grounds are also planned. Opponents are worried that if the development goes ahead and the sprawling site will become a hub for occultists and Satanists from around the world. Children's charity Fresh Start Foundation are representing people who oppose the redevelopment at Boleskine House, both in the local community and further afield. A spokesman told the Record, quote, "Our objection is to the proposed use of the property to promote the sex magic and thelemic doctrines of Aleister Crowley, which amount to a satanic religion and are associated with satanic ritual abuse. As such, the promotion of this abusive legacy of a man who styled himself the Beast presents a danger to the local community and especially to children and vulnerable adults." And the quote continues, "We believe that this development poses a danger to local people as it will attract Satanists from across the globe to the quiet and hitherto safe Highland community of Foyers. We believe it is essential that the planning process be used to prevent this ultimate bad neighbor development from blighting this Highland community." While that's the end of the quote. While another objector, Naomi King, claims her comments on the council's planning portal had been sanitized with all references to Satanism removed. Mr. Reddy is the chairman of the Boleskine House Foundation. He recently published the book One Truth and One Spirit, Aleister Crowley's spiritual legacy, and claims to have an academic interest in the house. The foundation's intentions are explained on its website and played down claims that Boleskine will become an occult hub. It says, quote, "Our mission is to restore and preserve the historical legacy and heritage of the Boleskine House estate for the greater benefit of the public. Upon its complete restoration, we intend to use the estate to promote education on the heritage of the house, to welcome the enjoyment of its structure and surrounding gardens." So there you go. The old Aleister Crowley house is seeking renovation here, and some locals
turn it into an Airbnb.
Yeah, and some locals are going, "Don't do it." It's going to turn into a satanic pillar that everyone, journeys.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
They're not. They're really not.
You can definitely see once that sucker's open for business, you're going to get a lot of Satanists showing up. A real pilgrimage site. That's very interesting.
That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, that's the concern here. You know, you're going to start having strange things going on there, and animal sacrifices. Who knows?
Yeah, whoever's going to be the maintenance guy or the superintendent of that building is going to have some wacky messes to clean up.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on what happens here. But I do remember the place burning down, and some of our colleagues were saying that this is like a judgment, but not if they come back in full force.
Build it back and make some money.
Build back better, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, of course, whoever is doing this renovation is doing it precisely because they know they're going to be booked 365 days a year.
Yeah, they have a target market for sure.
Yeah.
So there you go. Something to keep an eye on, and something that you're not going to really hear too much about probably in the midst of the chaos that is amongst our nation.
If you're looking for a relaxing vacation on the shores of Loch Ness, I've got a great place for you.
Yeah, look for the Loch Ness Monster and, the
ghost of the beast.
The ghost of the beast. Yeah, not fun. But there you go. We have one more story that I thought we'd leave off to keep things light.
All right. Thomas in the YouTube chat is commenting about how the gift shop is going to be a doozy.
Oh, see, that's another money making thing.
Yeah.
That's a financial, because it markets itself. That's the problem. If you're strictly looking at it from like a financial
business perspective, it's a home run.
It's a home run. Yeah. You're not going to ever have it empty, but from a spiritual, not just spiritual, but just communal, like the normal folks that live in the community.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to become a stronghold in a few senses of the word.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. Your microphone is driving me nuts.
I know, it's bouncing around.
Yep.
I bought a new windscreen for it. This one's all bent and broken.
It's broken and breaking at the same time.
Yeah.
It's broken. Okay. One more story here. I thought I'd leave us all because I wanted to end with an election story that's not, really intense, but at least gives us a laugh and just we're able to smile and have some joy going into the weekend here.
This is deep.
And this is the gatewaypundit.com headline.
Uh-oh.
Not the Onion. Michigan Attorney General pleads with public to stop telling her staff to shove Sharpies up their behinds.
Please
stop.
Please. Oh my gosh.
Do I need to read this? Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is pleading with the public to stop telling her staff to shove Sharpies up their rear ends. Nessel made her desperate plea to the public on Twitter after a state judge tossed a lawsuit by the Trump campaign that sought to suspend ballot counting in the state. She said, "Dear members of the public, please stop making harassing and threatening calls to my staff. They are kind, hardworking public servants just doing their job. Asking them to shove Sharpies in uncomfortable places is never appropriate and is a sad commentary on the state of our nation."
You know what's actually interesting about this article is they don't give any context for this.
They don't.
What do you? Are you
I'm
aware
familiar.
of the context?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently, and I don't have the details right in front of me, so you can fact check this.
Sure.
But apparently, part of the problem with the election here is in one or more voting places, they were giving voters Sharpies to fill in their ballots, which apparently, according to whatever laws, that invalidates the ballot. But that was the only option they were given. and I've only heard this from the conservative side. So I've only heard this in the context that it was specifically conservatives were given Sharpies to fill out their ballots so they would be voided. I don't know the exact facts, but that's just what I've heard floating around. So that's a little bit of context for the whole Sharpie problem here.
Yeah. And allegedly the Sharpie does not cause the ballots to fail or anything like that, or at least that's what's being reported. Who knows at this point, but
I don't really know.
At the very least, Dana Nessel is taking the opportunity to make the right wing look like a bunch of
please stop
inappropriate.
Please stop telling my staff to do this weird thing. That's funny.
Election officials have claimed that ballots cast in Sharpie will be counted despite previous reports and rumors to the contrary.
Okay, if you say so.
Here's my thing. Like you mentioned at the top here, we have technology to do this more better. And I tweeted out a few days ago, like, we have the technology to, change our behavior, cause us to click on things like social behavior, social engineering, other technologies to have internet, to communicate across the world instantly, to do all kinds of amazing things. Even, if you're looking at the transhumanists and the technocracy, we have the ability to, mess with our genes and do all kinds of craziness. But to count votes,
yeah,
no,
we're putting it on a piece of paper, counting it by hand. We can't figure it out.
And what's interesting is that if it was really something that mattered, I guess like it does matter, but I'm saying, like, if it's really something that needed to be changed, I feel like it would have been changed or upgraded together. As a society, we would have been moving in that direction. But the fact that we don't.
Well, they've been trying. I mean, every year there's something. But remember, the voting machines got hacked and there was problems and the touch screens were not calibrated and all this nonsense. I don't know. There's just a lack of competence, or whether it's accidental or on purpose. There seems to be some sort of lack of competence.
Yeah. Well, that's where the whole blockchain idea would come in, is it would be self-monitored with a distributed set of computers all monitoring each other. But then you let that into the door. It's so hard
to cheat. It's so hard to cheat when it's electronic. It is. If you put it on the blockchain, you can't have sudden influxes of unexplained ballots overnight.
Yep. That all vote for one candidate and zero for the other.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Nothing to see
here.
Thing.
I won.
Hairy legs.
The thing.
I have hairy legs.
All right. Okay. Are you done?
Yes, I guess I'm done. I'm just as sick of everything as everybody else is. So the only thing I can do is just mock it and just comment on the absurdity.
That's all there is to do.
I know.
Okay, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. Remember, we are on the value for value model, and we will have another show on Monday. Oh, yeah, actually, Monday's going to be a little sketchy. There will be something on Monday, November 9th. So stay tuned. Put it on your calendar. Gons, I'll just say it now. I think we have to do an early show on Monday the 9th.
Sure.
So I know you like that idea.
I like it.
Yes, Monday, November 9th, we'll be back probably around noon or so. But keep an eye on our social media. Turn on notifications. Put it on your calendar, folks. Make sure you don't miss it. It's going to be a good time. And remember, we got to get some new producers on the list for Monday's show. So if you're sitting there and you've been watching the show for maybe one episode, or you've tuned in for a few, or maybe you've been here watching all year as we forge through the nonsense of the news that's coming out. If you gain any value from our show, whether it's from the analysis or the jokes, or you feel educated or edified or encouraged or part of the family, whatever it is, if you get any value out of the show, please consider putting some value back in and becoming a producer. That's a real thing, folks. Put it on your resume, put it on your LinkedIn. You know, producer podcasts are so popular now. Even a couple of years ago, you know, you put podcast producer on your resume, nobody would even care. But I mean, podcasts are a big deal now. It's kind of weird. And I've heard plenty of stories of people putting podcast producer on their resume. And, you know, because everybody listens to podcasts, whoever's hiring you is like, oh, I love a podcast. Anyways, put it on your resume, your LinkedIn, give them our email address, canarycryradio@gmail.com. We will vouch for you. And even more than that, it just helps keep this show going. And we can't do it without you. So thank you so much for those who share your treasure with the show to keep it running, but also to those who share your talent and your time. If you want to get involved with the Canary Land, as it was once put by such a wise producer, send us an email. Eventually, we'll get back to you. And we've got, you know, the ecosystem of Canary Cry News Talk and Canary Cry Radio is really a producer-run ecosystem. We have canarycry.community, which is our anti-Facebook social media. It's all Canarians all the time, not just talking about conspiracy theories and fringe topics, but also making friendships, playing games, sharing things about your life, the prayer wall. It's really a great place to go, even if you just need to connect with someone sane. Head to canarycry.community. It's a real URL. Try it out. Also, there's the Canary Cry merch perch, new merchandise. New merchandise coming up soon, I hear from Producer Dust. Thank you so much. Remember, all that merch is sold at cost, so it's as low as it can go. But remember, you have an opportunity to tip the webmaster, which please do that because it costs money to run it, and we want to keep Producer Dust incentivized. But you can also tip the artist, and you can tip Gonz and I, which is a pretty cool system. Again, a family affair. Now, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. You know what? I was going to say, today's Friday. I usually read ratings and reviews on Friday. But you know what, Gonz? There were no new ratings or reviews. It's been 2 weeks, and there's been not a single new rating and review. I know. It's crazy.
That's sad.
So come on, folks. We need ratings and reviews, not just because, you know, it's some sort of superficial way for Gonz and I to get an ego boost once in a while, but really it helps out the algorithms. We're talking about, you know, where we are placed on the global charts and things like that. Ratings and reviews play a huge part in the algorithms that, share the show on iTunes and other podcast catchers that shows it to people who have never heard of it before. So it's really important. It helps the show grow and gives a good touch point for those who are maybe exploring listening to the show. So if you haven't done it yet, please just take 2 minutes. It's so fast. Just go to whatever search bar you use, whether it's Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or whatever. What was another one? Not Ask Jeeves, but Meta Search.
Meta Search.
Meta Search.
What was the one? Start Page. That's another one you can go to.
Start Page. Go to your AOL search bar, type in keywords, Apple Podcasts, Canary Cry News Talk. That's Apple Podcast, Canary Cry News Talk. That'll take you right to the best place to leave a rating and a review. Please do that. Very important. Thank you very much. I will be reading ratings and reviews next Friday. It's always very fun, always very good. Okay, let's see. What else? Oh, and other than that, you know, remember, a really important way to A, help the show out, B, help your friends out, and C, really help the world is to share an episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Share it on your social media, your Facebook, your Twitter, tag Gonz and I in it, you know, let us know that you're doing it. And that really helps spread the word as well. You never know who's just lurking on your social media looking for a lifeline of humor and truth to help them get through this crazy time. And we're here to help. And other than that, Remember, the best way to spread the show is just word of mouth. You got friends, you got family, they're starting to wake up. Spread the word, folks, that Canary Cry News Talk is here. Just send them an episode. Hit that share button. Send it right to their phone. Give them a chance to listen to it. We'll be happy to participate in that journey of theirs of waking up to see that the world is not what it seems. All right. If you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Remember, folks, we'll be back Monday, November 9th, probably somewhere around noon. So make sure to tune in then. Leave those ratings and reviews. That's all I gotta say. I don't know if I have anything else. Gons, any last words?
Trump tweeting.
Uh-oh.
He's tweeting a lot right now.
You want to give us a taste? Is there something interesting?
Just saying that, it's unconstitutional, some of the votes. He just said Joe Biden should not wrongfully claim the office of the president. I could make the claim also, which he already did. Legal proceedings are just now beginning.
Okay.
So there you
just
go.
Now. Just now.
Where are the arrests? Folks. I want to see the arrests, Pachiznik.
Pachiznik, show us that isotope. All right, folks, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I'm for the robots.
Stop this progress before it is too late!
And melt those babies into candles.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone!
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
pot. That's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt,
a joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered. Just put me on some, I don't know.
You shot in the butt, fluoride, oxytocin, get a chemical hug.
I I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
future humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
That was not